Algebra 2, 32.2, I'm going to try to do 10, excuse me, 10, 11, and 12 in this one video. This is in concept 23, which is probability. So we'll start with number 10. Number 10, a box contains 10 square chocolate cookies, 13 round chocolate cookies, hungry, 5 square vanilla cookies, and 12 round vanilla cookies. What is the probability of reaching in the box and selecting a vanilla cookie given that it's square? Since it says given that it's square, we're just first looking for how many total square cookies there are. So let's go back to all these different kinds. We have 10 square chocolates, so we have 10 square, C for chocolate. So we do need those. 13 round chocolate, we don't need the round. Right? We're just now looking for square. So we don't need it. Get rid of that. 5 square vanilla, so we have 5 square vanilla, SV for square vanilla, and 12 round. I don't want the round. Probability of reaching in the box and selecting a vanilla cookie given that it's square. We now know we only are dealing with these cookies here, which is total of 15 square cookies. And of those square cookies, 5 are vanilla. So our probability is just 5 over 15, which reduces to 1/3. That's it. Number 11. Quincy will either eat steak or spaghetti for dinner tonight. If he eats steak, there's a 20% chance he'll get indigestion. If he eats spaghetti, there's a 70% chance he'll get indigestion. The probability that he eats spaghetti and gets indigestion is 42%. What is the probability he eats steak? So now we're going to one of these diagrams, a tree diagram. I use circles. That was how it was first started on the worksheet. We're dealing now with spaghetti or steak. And it didn't tell us in the beginning what the percentage was, what the probability was specifically for eating spaghetti or steak. However, if he eats steak, there's a 20% chance he'll get indigestion. So we'll put the I for indigestion, which means there's an 80% or 0.8 chance of not getting indigestion. If he eats spaghetti, now we're on this side, there's a 70% chance he gets indigestion, which means there's a 30 or 0.3 chance of not getting indigestion. But the probability that he eats spaghetti and gets indigestion is 42%, meaning down here is 0.42. What is the probability he eats steak? So this right here, this is the one we're trying to find. Now if they're saying that he's eaten the spaghetti and gotten indigestion, that's 42%. That means whatever this probability is times 0.7 gives us 0.42. So it's kind of like having 0.7 times x equals 0.42. So really what we're doing is we're dividing 0.42 by 0.7. Some of you can probably do this in your head, because if you just think about 7 times 7 to get 42, that's, well, it's 6. And that probability will be 0.6. Or you can just take this and divide it by 0.7 with the calculator. Which means the steak, which has to add up with this to make 100%, now must be 0.4, which means our probability for steak is 40%. Last one in this video, number 12. On a certain circular spinner game, the spinner lands on red half the time and on green 1/3 of the time. The rest of the time it lands on blue. Draw and label a spinner. So I'm going to go ahead and draw up and down. There's my red for the 1/2 of the time. 1/3 of the time it lands on green. Now 1/3, you know your circles, 3 sections would be about that much. So that would be green. So I have red for 1/2, green for 1/3. The rest of the time it lands on blue. So now we have blue. We don't know what that fraction is. So to get this fraction, we have to add up 1/2 and 1/3 and get the remainder of that to make up the rest of the circle. 1/2 plus 1/3. To go back to way back a long time ago, the common denominator is 6. This 1/2 becomes 3/6. 1/3 becomes 2/6, which means that these red and green together make up 5/6 in this circle, which means the only part that's left over for the blue is 1/6. That's it. Part B. What is the probability of throwing 3 darts that all land on blue? 3 probabilities, and they all have to be the blue probability, which is that the one we just found, 1/6. 1/6 times 1/6 times 1/6. Multiply those together, 1 on top, 1 times 1 times 1, and on the bottom, 6 times 6 times 6 is 216, so that probability is 1 out of 216.